This is Indonesia, a land of immeasurable diversity, a land that offers vast opportunities. This is the nexus of hopes and aspirations from across the archipelago.
Bersama, kami berikan kontribusi nyata lewat inovasi, karya cipta, dan pencapaian lain sesuai bidang ilmu. Dari UI, untuk Indonesia yang toleran, unggul, dan bermartabat.
Welcome to Universitas Indonesia. Since our beginnings, Universitas Indonesia has been continually evolving and building upon our achievements. We have become the biggest, best, and leading university in Indonesia and also Asia. Here at Universitas Indonesia, the best and brightest from across the region come to study. From diverse backgrounds, we built an intellectual community that enriches and enhances humanity. For superior generations, Universitas Indonesia provides world-class learning facilities. We implement state-of-the-art technology for research and industrial development. Our campus is accessible to all, also to the disabled. This is our commitment for realizing an inclusive educational environment. Universitas Indonesia is fully supported by environmentally friendly transportation and sustainable energy systems. We take pride in being a green and sustainable campus. Universitas Indonesia partners with relevant stakeholders to facilitate and provide ease of comfort for day-to-day activities for all our academic community. We recognize that each individual is unique, with unique talents and interests. As such, Universitas Together, we embrace our diversity to grow the future together. For Indonesia, for the world. Universitas Indonesia, unity in diversity. Universitas Indonesia, Veritas, Probitas, Justitia.
Asia, with its vast and steady growth, has turned itself into the leader of global economy. Indonesia, with its strategic position, has the chance to take the major role in this era. In order to build global partnerships and counteract the threats, strategic policies should be taken. To enhance the nation's competitive advantage, further approach through in-depth, comprehensive studies and researches are crucial. With our long history, has proved ourselves to be a reliable academic institution. After successfully adapting into distinct programs, in 2016, officially the program turned into School of Strategic and Global Studies. School of Strategic and Global Studies Universitas Indonesia contributes the cause by producing qualified human resources and studies. Situated in the heart of Jakarta, the School of Strategic and Global Studies provides a variety of courses on multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary studies at the master's levels.
In my humble opinion, I can say that I have a good impression at the first sight. An atmosphere and ambience here support us to gain more and achieve more other than merely classes and handouts.
I think that is a very promising because of the multidisciplinary approach that Universitas Indonesia offers us to study. For another reason, the situation that I actually got in the classes is a lot of interesting current issues that we're talking about, so it's academically fulfilling for me.
With dedicated and qualified lecturers from academic and practical background, School of Strategic and Global Studies Universitas Indonesia produce scholars and practitioners that will ready for global challenges. Together, we build the nation for a better world.
Marilah
This is Indonesia, a land of immeasurable diversity, a land
Gaudeamus igitur, Juvenes dum sumus. Gaudeamus igitur, Juvenes dum sumus. Pos iucundam juventutem, pos molestam senetutem, nos habemus.
This is Indonesia, a land of immeasurable diversity, a land that offers vast opportunities. This is the nexus of hopes and aspirations from across the archipelago.
Bersama, kami berikan kontribusi nyata lewat inovasi, karya cipta, dan pencapaian lain sesuai bidang ilmu. Dari UI, untuk Indonesia yang toleran, unggul, dan bermartabat.
Welcome to Universitas Indonesia. Since our beginnings, Universitas Indonesia has been continually evolving and building upon our achievements. We have become the biggest, best, and leading university in Indonesia and also Asia. Here at Universitas Indonesia, the best and brightest from across the region come to study. From diverse backgrounds, we build an intellectual community that enriches and enhances humanity. For superior generations, Universitas Indonesia provides world-class learning facilities. We implement state-of-the-art technology for research and industrial development. Our campus is accessible to all, also to the disabled. This is our commitment for realizing an inclusive educational environment. Universitas Indonesia is fully supported by environmentally friendly transportation and sustainable energy systems. We take pride in being a green and sustainable campus. Universitas Indonesia partners with relevant stakeholders to facilitate and provide ease of comfort for day-to-day activities for all our academic community. We recognize that each individual is unique, with unique talents and interests. As such, Universitas Indonesia provides opportunities for every individual to develop themselves to their fullest. Universitas Indonesia provides and fully supports students with great facilities and activities so that students are able to develop and grow to become their best. Together, we embrace our diversity to grow the future together. For Indonesia, for the world. Universitas Indonesia. Unity in diversity. Universitas Indonesia. Veritas, Probitas, Justitia.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have today very special occasion. This occasion is to celebrate actually the 6th anniversary of School of Strategic and Global Studies, and in the same time also to celebrate the 20th anniversary of European Studies in Indonesia. Today we actually have several programs. The main program, of course, is the Minister Lecture on Strategic and Global Affairs, which entitled Indonesia Slovakia Bilateral and Multilateral Relation in the Context of Recent Development in East Europe. So this lecture will be delivered by the State Secretary of Slovak Republic, His Excellency Mr. Martin Klus. Mr. Martin Klus also the Vice of Minister of Foreign Affairs. So before we start the lecture, I actually would like to read the opening remarks, actually. The opening remarks of our Vice Rector for Research and Innovation to open actually this program, Dr. Nurtami, Ph.D. But since our Vice Rector is on the way here from the airport and it's stuck somewhere between the airport and our campus, so I will invite our director, the director of School of Strategic Studies, Dr. Ator Subroto, to give his welcoming remarks. Please, Pato.
Good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable State Secretary of the Slovak Republic and Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Mr. Martin Klus, Honorable Ambassador of Slovak Republic in Jakarta, His Excellency Jaroslav Lebo, and Honorable Ambassador of Czech Republic, His Excellency Jaroslav Dolesek. Honorable Vice Rector, and unfortunately today she is not coming here because of traffic jam. She sent all of us greetings and sorry to not make it here. And also distinguished expert on European studies from various universities who are joining this minister lecture online as our expert panel, and also distinguished diplomats of Indonesian embassies in Bratislava. We said to you, welcome home, and also diplomat of Slovakia and Indonesia. Distinguished colleagues from University of Indonesia, Universitas Indonesia, and our partner universities from all around Indonesia. Distinguished guests and friends, and our beloved master and doctoral student in our schools. It is a great opportunity for me to welcome you today in this School of Strategic and Global Studies, or SKSG. We are gathering now in Salemba campus of University of Indonesia, the oldest campus in Indonesia actually. Historically, the UI campus in Jakarta was more than a landmark of colonial era. Here in Salemba, the classic academic tradition of the entire country were started and developed. Our minister lecture on strategic and global affairs today is organized to celebrate actually the 6th anniversary of our school. And it seems young, but only 6 years. However, it's not actually, because the new school, our school today, is a transformation from the multidisciplinary postgraduate studies before. Global development has inspired us to various adjustments, and among them are adjustment in the field of education, research, economy, politics, and of course cultures. Adaptations make human beings survive. The previous name of this institution was the postgraduate program, in where the students master and post doctorate program studying here gain their advanced knowledge. 6 years ago, Universitas Indonesia decided to split this postgraduate program into 2 schools. One is School of Strategic and Global Studies, our school today, and our sibling, which is School of Environmental Studies. Both schools are postgraduate schools and develop their multi, and cross-disciplinary academic approaches. Today, lectures is organized to celebrate the jubilee of European Studies Master Program. Congratulations, Bu Henny. The oldest European Studies in Indonesia already reached its 20th anniversary. Up to now, it is only one master program in European Studies in this country, Indonesia. The program was built by professors from various faculty, Faculty of Economic, Faculty of Humanities, Faculty of Law, Faculty of Political and Science, and since its foundation, European Studies developed also multi, and cross-disciplinary academic approach. It is a pleasure for me to welcome Your Excellency, Mr. Martin Klus, to our campus. The School of Strategic and Global Studies has been developing good relation and cooperation with the government of Slovak Republic and many other institutions, such as academic field, for research center, non-government organization, and also industries. With the visit of the Honorable State Secretary of the Slovak Republic and Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Mr. Martin Klus, and Ambassador of Slovak Republic and also Ambassador of Czech Republic in Jakarta, we expect to develop our good relations, could build more cooperation with Slovak and also Czech Republic, especially in the academic field, research innovation, socio-humanities sectors, exchange, student exchange, faculty exchange, and many others academic activity in the future. I hope His Excellency Mr. Martin Klus is enjoying his official visit in Indonesia and feels welcome by all of us in our school. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Excellencies, since our Vice Rector is not coming yet, so I was asked to read her remarks, because this remark is to open this program. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Honorable State Secretary of Slovak Republic and Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Mr. Martin Klus, Honorable Ambassador of Slovak Republic in Jakarta, His Excellency Mr. Jaroslav Klebo, His Honorable Ambassador of Czech Republic, His Excellency Jaroslav Dolocek, distinguished Honorable Director of School of Strategic and Global Studies, Mr. Arthur Subroto, Ph.D., distinguished expert on European studies from various universities who joined the minister lecture onlinely, and as today as our expert panel, distinguished colleagues from University of Indonesia and our partners university, distinguished guests and friends and beloved students. It is a pleasure for me as a Vice Rector of the University of Indonesia for Research and Innovation not to be here yet with you in Salemba campus of UI. I'm deeply honored to open the Minister Lecture on Strategic and Global Affairs which is organized by School of Strategic and Global Studies, Universitas Indonesia. The Minister Lecture is one of various academic activities that organized by School of Strategic Studies in celebrating its 6th anniversary, and fortunately in the same time to celebrate the jubilee of European Studies Master Program. The Master Program reached its 20th anniversary. Today, Minister Lecture is entitled Indonesia Slovakia Bilateral and Multilateral Relation in the context of recent development in East Europe. The history shows that Indonesia-Slovakia bilateral relations has begun since Slovakia was a part of the Republic of Czechoslovakia when both countries' leaders were building various cooperation in many sectors: education, innovation, cultures, industry, and other sectors. Multilateral relations between Indonesia and Slovakia are able to be seen in many institutional cooperation, such as ASEAN-Slovakia relation and EU-Indonesia relation. Both institutional platforms of cooperation bring the relation of Indonesia-Slovakia becoming deeper and deeper. The COVID-19 pandemic and the recent situation, as well as its development in east part of Europe, should not be the obstacle for Indonesia and Slovakia to tighten the relationship. The School of Strategic and Global Studies, especially the European Studies Master Program, has maintained their cooperation with Slovak government, education institution, and various research centers since more than a decade ago. The master program has won the 14,000 euros grant from the regional funding of 4 Central European countries called Visegrad Fund, the funding based in Bratislava, the capital city of Slovakia. Universitas Indonesia has approved and accommodated several joint academic programs and joint research activities proposed by the School of Strategic and Global Studies. Several of them are academic programs and research activities with Slovak University and research institution. UI always supports such activities and expected more academic programs and activities could be realized in this year and upcoming years. I hope our Minister Lecture on Strategic and Global Affairs today will bring positive ambience and strong inspiration to maintain and develop the existing cooperation between Indonesia and Slovakia, especially between Universitas Indonesia and Slovakia institution. Moreover, the cooperation could bring the initiative to create many innovative programs for the sustainability of the peace in the world. Thank you. So I think we can start, ladies and gentlemen, with the main program, which is the minister lecture, our minister lecture today on strategic and global studies. Place and time is yours, Excellency.
Excellencies, Honorables, Spectabilis, dear colleagues, dear friends, it's a real pleasure to be here and thank you very much for invitation and warm welcoming me here today. It's a fantastic opportunity to come back to academic environment where I spent almost 15 years of my professional life. Before I entered politics, I was vice rector at 2 universities in Slovakia. I have some postgraduate studies in Norway, United States of America, and I'm very happy that I can now be a bit of lecturer here in Indonesia. My today's lecture, as you can see and hear, is to discuss with you our bilateral relationship, but not only. Let's focus on a more multilateral relationship and even more how we can make our world better, because I believe without our cooperation, without the cooperation of like-minded countries like Slovakia and Indonesia, this will not be possible. Before I start to speak about how we can do that, let me mention a couple of important bilateral issues or things we are having together. Slovakia, as already been mentioned, has a diplomatic relationship with Indonesia for almost 30 years. But our history of diplomatic relationship is much longer, because already in 1950, Indonesia and Czechoslovakia started our diplomatic relationship. And from that moment, we always been very friendly countries cooperating together in many fora, like United Nations and within some international organizations. It's also very important to mention that we are having very important economic relationship because Slovakia, same like Czech Republic and 25 more countries, we are part of the European Union, and EU is the 4th largest trading partner for Indonesia. Luckily, we are also having some bilateral trade, Indonesia and Slovakia. And my today visit here in Indonesia aim is also to enhance this cooperation and prepare possibilities to make our economic relationship even more fruitful. For instance, we are starting our cooperation in agriculture, digital economy, communication technology, for instance, meteorology, which is very interesting, especially for Indonesian airports, and industrial cooperation with quite many companies which are Slovak or Czechoslovak origin. Please let me tell you at the very beginning little more also about my personal mission here. I believe we need to know each other to understand each other. So my hope is that after this pandemia, or let's be humbly optimistic that pandemia is becoming endemia, we should start to create people-to-people contacts much more than ever. And I hope academic environment is one of them which could offer us this possibility. And I'm definitely convinced that 20 students per year is not enough. We are using this Dharma Siswa scholarship thanks to your government, but we need to enhance this cooperation, and we need to use more bilateral relationship scholarship or Erasmus scholarship to bring more Indonesian to Slovakia and more Slovaks back to Indonesia. We also believe that we need to enhance our cooperation in culture, sport, and many other fields where people can learn from each other and to know each other. And this is my personal mission here, and we will try our best to promote some very concrete possibilities how to do that. And last but not least, let me tell you a couple of words about the multilateralism. Slovakia as well as Indonesia are countries who believe in the same values. First of all, value of peace. We all believe peace is something granted in our territory of Central Eastern Europe. After the fall of Iron Curtain, after the fall of communist regimes, we believe we are building a brighter future for all of us. Unfortunately, this is not the case. We are facing violation of international law, United Nations Charter. We are facing human tragedies in our neighborhood country, Ukraine. And that's why it is very, very important for us, relatively small country, I rather use compact country with 5.5 million people in Central Europe, to have good friends all around the world, including Southeastern Asia, including Indonesia, because I believe we all believe in the same values, and we all want to do as much as it gets to keep these values as a global values. That's why we are discussing today also possibilities how to cooperate together, European Union, ASEAN countries, and also within the United Nations, to make sure that situations like the one we are having now in Ukraine unfortunately worldwide in some territories, will never appear again. So this is why Slovakia's top priority in international affairs is to keep multilateralism, peace, and stability through international organizations. And this is what we are sharing together. Much more than the lecture, I would be happy if we will have a discussion today. So let me finalize my short starting points with Ukraine. I already mentioned that from our point of view, it is real tragedy what is happening there. And it's real tragedy also because more than 360,000 Ukrainians already entered Slovakia. Altogether, it's more than 4 million people who left country. 70,000 of them already asked for temporary shelter, and some hundreds of them for asylum. I know that many of them left from Slovakia to, for instance, Czech Republic, almost 200,000 Ukrainians. But many of them just enter European Union with a valid biometric passport and waiting for 90 days now what will happen in Ukraine. And they all hope they should come back soon. Another problem is humanitarian aid and military aid we are providing to our Ukrainian friends. We built 2 international hubs in Slovakia, helping international humanitarian aid to get to the right place in Ukraine. Except of that, we donate a couple of millions to Ukrainians to supply with important materials, including military material. Many people asking me here in this part of the world especially, why we are doing so, why we are helping military way to Ukraine. Isn't this reason why the peace is still not there? But we have very simple answer. Ukrainians are fighting for our values. Only problem of Ukraine is that they sovereignly decide to be part of democratic world, to be part of the European Union and perspectively NATO. And there is one guy in Kremlin who believes that there is no nation like Ukraine and who believe these people have to follow him and not their sovereign decision. So that's why we believe we have to help them because they are fighting for our values, values of democracy, freedom, and sovereignty. This is what we are doing, and we believe in peace, stability, and security in Eastern Europe soon. I will stop here, if you don't mind, and I'm looking forward to listen to your questions as much as it gets. It's quite symbolic that on this map from 19th century, I guess, second half of 19th century, my head is exactly in the place where new wave of attacks from Russia start against Ukraine, and hundreds of people are dying right now. So let's hope also this discussion should bring some new impetus to bring better future for our Ukrainian friends and for us in the world which believe in peace. Thank you. I know that the first question is always the toughest one.
Thank you, Excellency. So before we start with the discussion, we like to hand over the university token to you, which will be handed by the director.
Thank you.
Ambassador, please. You too.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, let's make a photo together. And together with ambassadors.
Yes, we have another one to ambassador.
Thank you, Ambassador, for your
Thank you very much. Yes, maybe one more picture. I think I'd like to invite also Ambassador Dolecek to the stage. Okay. Yeah. Please, Ambassador Dolecek. It's okay. Because I hope in the next time we will have also the similar occasion with Ambassador Dolecek. Thank you very much.
So ready.
So, okay. I think we have, I think, two groups of audiences, Excellency. First group is the audience who are here, the offline audience, we call it. And beside that, we have also the online expert panel, who are consist of the expert of European studies from various universities, from University of Indonesian University of Indonesia Christian University, University of Diponegoro in Semarang, and University of Muhammadiyah in Yogyakarta, University of Muhammadiyah in Malang, University of Brawijaya in Malang, the State University. So there are around 6-7 university, and the other one is University of Yogyakarta, University of yeah. So they are where they are there. I think they are. You can see there, and beside those two kinds of audiences, we have also audience in online platform, which is in YouTube. They can follow our program. They can also chat their question, but maybe we will respond them after the program. Or if we are lucky, I will ask the administrator or the operator to give their questions. So I will invite the question from our audiences here. If there is any question we have one. So for the first term, we will have like 3 questions.
No problem.
So we have Pak Danang and Pak Made. So Mr. Danang is our students of actually it's not students of doctorate degree, but he's very much expert in his field. And also we have Pak Made, the alumni of European Studies, who are working in security sector. And we have another one. Maybe there is one more question. Okay, we have. Okay, we have very good. Pak Wijaya is also a very major students. He's students of our doctorate degree. So I will please give the mic to Pak Danang first, and then to Pak Made, and then to Pak Wijaya. everyone can come here. That's even better. So everyone in YouTube can see you.
Sorry. Thank you, Ibu Henny. It is my pleasure to ask you, Excellency. I'm Danang. I'm Danang. I'm studying for Ph.D. And also, I'm a government official in the Ministry of Agriculture. And recently, we just already held the G20 meeting. That's actually, related to what you have already explained about the situation, the geopolitical tension around the Black Sea region. What do you think about the what should Indonesia presidency to act? Because we know that the G20 club is really inclusive one, but we have to be more balanced between those two, the UNR conflict. Because in agriculture working group, we only talk about the technical issues such as food security, the climate change, the infectious disease, for instance, the unbalanced and open, transparent, predictable trade. You know that I just browsed from the internet that between Indonesia and the Slovak, we haven't been quite a large number of agriculture trade. I'm not sure about the exact number. Can you explore more about because we want to export also the agriculture product to the Europe, and one of the minister strategy and also his program is to increase the acceptability of our agriculture product. In return, also we also try to, because food security not also the self-sufficiency, but also we have to open the trade with those three. Thank you very much, Excellency.
Thank you very much for your questions. And let me start with G20 presidency. We paid a lot of attention to your priorities and activities, and really wish you good luck. And I understand how tough it is for you. I mean, Indonesia as a presidential country to have a presidency in such a complicated circumstances, while one of the violators of international law and UN Charter, one of the G20 countries is the one who is abusing human rights in a neighborhood country is part of the club. So it's not an easy situation, and we had more or less the same one in the Council of Europe, and we just simply kicked them out. That was one of the solutions we could do in this organization. But I understand it's not easy in G20, and I know that your government is trying its best to limit as much as it gets Russian activities there. But on the other hand, I understand the logic to have Russia there and to listen to them. Because if we will stop communication with this country, it should be even worse. Some people are asking, what should be worse, as they are doing? But let's not forget they are nuclear power, so it still could be worse. So I understand the situation you are facing, and it's nothing to envy you, and I hope situation will become more stable in just a couple of weeks. Everybody is hoping about 9th of May, which is important day for both Russian and Ukrainians to celebrate victory in Second World War. That could create a change. Maybe that will be the day when the peace will start. We are all really hopeful, but who knows? However, that could change also your complicated situation in G20. But I have more complicated question to all of you, to all of us, because it's not only about the G20, it's also about United Nations. How we can do or manage main aim of United Nations to be a peacekeeping organization when we have one among the 5 Security Council members, the one which is doing the troubles. how we can reform United Nations if you need unanimity in the Security Council. It's impossible. So these are the questions we are having, and it will not be easy to answer them. So it's much broader than G20 or many other multilateral organizations you or we are part of. Unfortunately, when you mention agriculture, I have to say that we fully understand how Ukrainian war is affecting global trade, because I heard about millions of tons of agricultural products which stuck in the ports of Ukraine, in Black Sea area, and can't get out. So this is creating a lot of problems all around the world, including Indonesia. And this is one more reason why we believe that we have to discuss European crisis worldwide. It's not only about us, it's about all of us. We became very global world. And if there is a trouble, and huge trouble now, in one part of the world, of course it's heavily affecting the other parts of the world. So this is one more reason why we need you on board to discuss what to do with Ukrainian crisis, if we can call it like this. And the positive factor is that we are trying our best to cooperate at the agricultural level. Maybe Mr. Ambassador should tell more about very concrete activities we are having. But for instance, there is a special university in Nitra in Slovakia, between Banska Bystrica and Bratislava, and this is a very specialized university for agriculture. And I know that they are trying their best to start some projects, research and scientific projects, also with Indonesia. So hopefully this will be the case. I brought open invitations to your Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Defense, and to some economic ministers, to Slovakia, to some forums we are having there. And I will try my best if they will come to take them also to academic environment, same like I did here, and especially to Nitra region, to start discussion about very concrete cooperation, especially food security, as you mentioned, but not only, because it's critically important also for us. I mean, European Union, as long as we are discussing reform of our agricultural policy, but also worldwide. So I hope this will be really win-win policy we can have together, especially through academic environment, but not only. Maybe one more colleague to ask?
Okay.
Oh, good. You have mic there. Fantastic. Okay, no problem.
Hello, Mr. Martin Klus. Happy to be here to discuss with you about our relationship between Indonesia and Slovakia. To be honest, I want to ask the same question as Mr. Sanjaya, but honestly, it's taken. So I want to steer it to another perspective of G20, Slovakia, US, between conflict of Russia and Ukraine. First of all, you mentioned that Slovakia is part of European Union and the fourth biggest trading partner of Indonesia. That's true, that's a fact. And then you are willing to strengthen the relationship, the partnership after the pandemic. And I would appreciate it as a civil servant. Yet, the problem now that happened in front of us, the conflict of Ukraine and Russia. As the presidency of G20, we are willing to invite all of the members of G20. But nowadays, the Treasury of Minister of US, the Janet Yellen, Mrs. Janet Yellen said yesterday, I would not come to Indonesia if they are invited Russia in the meeting. And as the part of European Union, what do you think the the European Union will take the stand. They will attend the meeting or will to support US to abandon Russia behind. Because if European Union will not attend it, how could we strengthen our relationship, our partnership in economic area if they are not attended the G20? That's the theme of how to recover together, how we strengthen together after the pandemic. That's a counterproductive, I think. In here, I would like to ask you, what is your perspective and what is Indonesia needs to do about this circumstance? Thank you very much, Mr. Martin Klus.
Thank you very much. As I already said, it's nothing to envy you in this critical situation. I'll tell you more about what's the position in the European Union. As long as I'm representing my country in so-called General Affairs Council, we are meeting ministers for Europe and vice ministers for Europe regularly every month and discussing such a topics as you mentioned in your question. And there are two streams now in the European Union. One of them believe that we have to isolate Russia as much as it gets, to make North Korea of Russia. Another stream is that we can't isolate them. We need to have at least some possibilities to discuss with them, because otherwise also diplomatic solution of this conflict should be endangered. It's not easy to decide which of the stream is better, because it's also about the discussion of the sanctions. You know that Slovakia, as well as 26 other EU member states, plus US, Japan, and many other countries, introduce sanctions against Russia. And some people are asking us, even in Slovakia, why you are doing that? Because it's affecting us. And we are always answering, of course it's affecting us, but it's affecting them much more than us. And this is the only way how we could influence Russia to push them not to do such a terrible things they are doing, as long as military solution is not possible. Military solution is simply not possible because whichever country of NATO will be part of war in Ukraine, that will be war against Russia as a nuclear superpower. If these two superpowers, NATO, especially US, and Russia will meet together in a war conflict, that will be over of the world. So that's why only possibility for us is to introduce sanctions. We already started with 5 packages and some more are prepared. Of course, it's very painful, as I said, for all of us, but probably there is no other way how to manage it. And so far, there is a unanimity in European Union. 27 countries all agree we have to do so. G20 is a different story. I understand that there is no unanimity how to deal with Russia. There are some countries which believe, as United States and probably also European Union member states in G20, that we have to expel them the same way as we expel them from the Council of Europe. As well as some people believe they have to be expelled from United Nations. But I understand that there are some countries, including Indonesia, who believe that we need to keep a room for discussion and limiting this discussion as much as it gets. This is what your government is doing. I'm not here to make a judge what's better, but I'm here to be optimistic, to say that after hopefully 9th of May, situation will be much easier also for your presidency, as I already answered to your colleague. So only wish you good luck. And if you need us to be advocate of some messages of your presidency in G20, I'm ready to do so.
Okay, thank you, Pak Made. So we have Pak Wijaya.
Can I respond it for a while? I would just say thank you. But the point here, I'm not. I don't want to emphasize that the conflict, and I want to emphasize that the relation between Indonesia and Slovakia will not affected by those conflicts. So I hope in the future, what we commit here today in this room, we can realize it. We can make it happen in the future after pandemic. That's the point. Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. Hope.
Thank you for this addition.
Yes.
And let me add also something from my side. Whenever I'm speaking about Russia, please don't understand me bad. I'm speaking about a Russian politician, the one who decides to have a war, because I understand that most of the Russians believe in peace the same as we believe in peace. At least I hope so. I know many of them, very nice people. So whenever I'm speaking about the Russian Federation, I'm speaking about Mr. Putin and his political followers.
Okay, Pak Made. Okay, please, Pak Wijaya.
Thank you, Excellency. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Wijaya. I'm one of the doctorate program students in University of Indonesia. I have a simple question. First of all, I think I know that the main economic support of the Slovakia is industrial sector and electric engineering. And I know that Slovakia is also the main producers, or even the largest producer car manufacturers in Eastern Europe. It produced more than 1 million cars. My question is, how do you perceive that this industry capability or capacity, how do you perceive in 5 or 10 years ahead, given the situation right now, I mean this crisis right now? Whether your country will develop more technology on defense and armory, not only car manufacturers, or just keep in the car manufacturers? Because I think given the recent conflicts, I know that all the countries surrounding the Russians or Ukrainians, they will have to defend on themselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very interesting question. First of all, I believe that the car industry needs to be reshaped. We are now discussing in European Union quite often what should be the future of the European Union through so-called green transition. And very important part of such a green transition is to reshape also car manufacturing. We already started. We started producing electromobiles much more than just 5 years ago, for instance. And we know that it should be even better. But now it is heavily affected by many crises we had, like pandemia, but also problems with logistics all around the world, including so-called chips or semiconductors, which we are missing in our car industry. So it's not easy, but we are trying to adapt. Luckily, Slovakia is producing cars of well-known companies like Volkswagen, Peugeot, Citroën, Hyundai, Kia, and last but not least, we have the Jaguar Land Rover in Slovakia. So all of these global companies are trying their best if it comes to innovations, and we are happy enough that Slovakia is part of this innovative program. So this is how I feel we should survive with this car manufacturing industry. It will not be easy, but I understand that it's only way how to manage it, because as you mentioned, we are leaders if it comes to the number of cars, to number of inhabitants in the world, and of course this part of the industry is giving a lot of opportunities to Slovakia, not only because of the employment and unemployment rate, but also because of research and development, which is now coming slowly but surely also to Slovakia. So this is why we are supporting this industry. But of course, we are trying our best to build possibilities for other industries. So we are supporting startups, especially digitally oriented and environmentally oriented, and many of them, I believe, should find a place later on also here in Indonesia. And we are welcoming possibilities for joint research, because I believe it's inevitable to work hard together on some issues, especially if it comes to the climate changes. So this is what we are doing. This is what my government is supporting heavily. And I hope we can focus much more on these issues and not war anymore. This is my personal wish.
Excellency, do you feel like willing to sit?
No, I'm fine. Yeah, if there are some more questions, no problem.
It's fine. Everyone asking if you want to sit or not. Okay, so we have 3 questions already. We will come to approach our online expert panel. So we will give opportunity to our experts who are onlinely join this minister lecture to raise the question. Please. Okay, we have now candidate Dr. Hendra Manurung, the expert from President University, but now he is studying in Pajajaran University. Please, Pak Hendra.
And also that, if I'm not mistaken, also that the Second World War, and it makes the failure of the League of Nations, and also that, and then it it become also with the United States. I mean that before that, of course, Hitler, Nazi, also before 1939 up to 1945, the Second World War. And now the Western country perceive totally that this is aggression, this is war launched in Ukraine. But we know that according to Kremlin, this is special military operations. I don't want to take a side, of course, because I have friends. I agree with you to some extent that we should advance the the what the multilateralisms, and also that peace and stability. But what would be the solutions if European countries itself cannot solve the problem? How would the conflict last from your point of view? I mean that this is, I'm talking about as an academician. I'm not talking about as a propagandist in international relations. Spasibo Mbak Alsoy, ya sudah nih ya.
Thank you. And I appreciate also your Russian language. Well, you gave me very, very tough question, future of the conflict. I need a magic ball here to make sure that I will give a proper answer for you, but I don't have it, unfortunately. Anyway, most of the analysts believe that there are three options. First of all, military victory of Ukraine. So we already saw that the first attack was not very successful, except of eastern and southern part of Ukraine. They didn't manage to change government in Kyiv. They didn't manage to go through Odessa to the southwestern part of Ukraine. And of course, they lost a lot of soldiers and equipment. So that could be one of the scenario that Ukraine will be successful enough to defend their country, and maybe Russian will just stop on the places they are. Another possible future is that Russian will win if it comes to this second wave. So they will at least get through the Donbas and Luhansk region to Crimea and create something like an independent part of Ukraine there, and maybe later on, the same like Crimea in 2014, these will become parts of Russia. Who knows? And the third scenario is that we'll be successful enough with the peace talks, and Russian will just withdraw their forces to the same position as they had in 2022, 24th of February. I believe some of these scenarios are possible, but who knows? Everything is very open. But when you are ask me broader, what should be the future of world or at least European order, then it's even more complicated to answer your question, because what we are now discussing as most important question is what we should do with our dependency on Russian oil and gas and nuclear fuel, iron, coal, and some other materials. Because at least if it comes to the oil and gas, we are sending hundreds of million euro every month to Russia. So we are paying their wars. But do we have another option? Not yet. Because oil and gas all around the world sources are limited, and oil and gas possibilities to transfer from one place in the world to another are limited as well. So of course we are discussing renewables if it comes to the energy sources. Of course we are discussing possibilities how to bring oil and gas from different parts of the world. But for instance, Slovakia is 98% dependent on Russian oil. 98%. If it comes to the gas, it's around 80%. It's not easy situation for us. And it's very, very complicated also politically to decide to stop it. On the other hand, It not necessarily need to be European Union who will stop it. Maybe Mr. Putin will say one day, let's stop it for a while. Let's stop it for a couple of months. And then we will see what the Europeans will do with their sanctions. Or if you want, I can call it special financial operations. Maybe Mr. Putin will understand it better. So it's critical situation we are facing, and it's not easy to make decisions, also political decisions. And I hope finally this third scenario will appear as soon as it gets, and then we can discuss what will happen with the rest of the Donbas and Luhansk as well as Crimea. But first of all, we need a peace. First of all, we need to ensure that people are not dying. And then let's see what the diplomacy should bring to the situation and how we can deal with oil and gas dependency and many other dependencies in not short term, but at least mid-term future. That will help us a lot.
Yes, but sorry, may I interrupt, Your Excellency?
Okay, I think we have another two questions.
Okay.
First, the second one is from Miss Firstrarinda from University of Brawijaya in Malang. And then after that, we will have a question from University of Muhammadiyah Malang from Mr. Adim Hafid. Please, Ibu Rinda first, and then Pak Adim.
Okay, thank you for the time. Good afternoon, Mr. Martin Klus. As you said before, that there's some priority toward Slovak foreign policy. What I would like to know, and would you mind to explain it more details? So, what is the priority of the Slovak government nowadays related to the situations, and especially how Indonesia can help to get through the situations, because we know there's more requests to make better conditions toward this violence. Meanwhile, ourselves, Slovakia itself, Indonesia itself should gather together in a positive way, in more diplomatic way, and of course in a peace way to make the situation better. Thank you for your explanation.
Frankly, I'm not sure if I understood well what kind of priorities has been mentioned.
What is the Slovak government priority in solving this problem? I mean, the conflict in Ukraine and in Russia.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for that. And of course, our top priority is to help with the peace. So now we are trying to work hard together. EU27, this is very important to mention because it's not about the bilateral solution. It's about the solution of European Union countries plus probably US and some other countries who are trying their best to help with diplomatic solution like Turkey, for instance, or Belarus even, and some other countries. So of course we are supporting them different way. And if this is not the case, and if we are not succeeding so far, top priority of our government is to help people coming from Ukraine and help Ukrainians defending themselves. So as I already mentioned in my lecture, first of all, humanitarian aid, and then military aid to Ukrainians to make sure that they are able to defend themselves. These are the priorities of my government.
Thank you, Excellency. Please, Pak Adim. I think this will be last question because we are approaching the, the end of this lecture. Please, Pak Adim.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Martin Klus. Happy to be here and glad to see you. Let me introduce myself. I am Hafid Adim Pradana from University of Muhammadiyah Malang. And I know currently Slovakia is quite popular among some Indonesian people, especially those who follow football news, because there are two Indonesian football team players who play in the Slovak football league, and I think you know who are they. In the context of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, I think we have to look at the Russo-Ukrainian conflict from each perspective. In Ukraine's perspective, efforts to defend themselves from Russian military operations is based on efforts to uphold sovereignty. Meanwhile, from Russia's perspective, military operation to Ukraine were carried out based on the expansion of NATO membership. We know that since 1997, there have been 14 new NATO member states in Eastern Europe. And for Russia, that is a problem. And regarding Slovakia's support for Ukraine, I can understand that because geographically, Slovakia is very close to Ukraine, and it certainly makes Slovakia potentially directly affected by the conflict, especially about the problem of Ukrainian refugees. So based on this, how is the Slovak government's response to the possibility of many refugees or immigrants coming from Ukraine? Thank you.
Again, Slovak government.
The question was, how is Slovak response on the fleeing of people from Ukraine, the refugees?
Well, there are even the legislation passed through Slovak Parliament, which is called Lex Ukraina, after Lex Corona, and this Lex Ukraina is helping other municipalities to build programs for refugees coming to Slovakia. For instance, we are supplying with inevitable aid to them, material aid, and then they distribute it. We are having helping hand of quite many NGOs who are helping to distribute also to Ukrainians living in, I can't call it camps, but together on some places. And we invented a very interesting solution, especially at the very beginning of the conflict, that those people who offer accommodation for people coming from Ukraine will get some extra money from our government. So because of this, we were able to accommodate a couple of thousands people, and now we are also using all the facilities from Slovak government, Slovak parliament, some Slovak public institutions, pensions, hotels, whatever possible, to accommodate these people, just to make sure that they will feel as good as possible in Slovakia. We don't want to build refugee camps for them. And luckily, because of great help of our friends in European Union, especially Czechia, but also Germany, Austria, France, and some other countries, some of these Ukrainians move there, and they help us with their capacities too. So it's a mixture of very important solutions. First of all, provide this kind of help if it comes to accommodation, then material help for them to have some kind of a living standard. And last but not least, we also offer all kids to enter our kindergartens and elementary and secondary schools. And some of these kids are already part of our schooling system. So I'm very happy for that. So they can feel like at home. And luckily, although we don't understand Ukrainians that good as we understand Czechs, but there is still language similarity. So as far as I know, they feel well in Slovakia, and they really appreciate our help. And last but not least, what I really wanted to mention here is that I'm very proud of our citizens, because they prove and show a huge solidarity to these people. And especially during the first hours of war, we had hundreds of volunteers helping, especially these single mothers with kids and elder people, to feel like almost at home in Slovakia, and to make sure that whenever possible we are here to help them. So this is what really make a positive image of Slovaks and Slovakia in all around the world, and I'm proud to bring it also here to Indonesia. So thank you for your question.
Thank you very much. I think this is the end of our minister lecture on strategic and global affairs. I will invite our vice rector for research and innovation to come to the stage and to close the event.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dobry dzień. Honorable State Secretary of Slovak Republic and Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Martin Klus, and also Honorable Ambassador of Slovak Republic to Indonesia, Brunei, Malaysia, East Timor, the Philippines, Singapore, and ASEAN, His Excellency Jaroslav Klebo, and Your Excellency, Honorable Ambassador of Czech Republic, Jaroslav Dolecek, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to be able to catch up at the end of today's minister lecture. My sincere apology for being late today because of the very heavy traffic. Well, I'm here on behalf of our rector, who is currently on his business trip to the United States. But Your Excellency, probably to inform you that our university now is a bit navigating ourselves into a new form of an entrepreneurial university. So therefore, going through that direction, academic engagements are really endorsed by our rector. And this opportunity with the Slovak institutions, both university and research institutions, are greatly welcome. So I'm glad that you are here with us today, and it is really an honor to have your presence here with us. I'm sure that today's minister lecture and also the warm discussion between our colleagues here gave enlightenment for our colleagues and those who are listening from online. Again, I really hope that today's meeting will be a new beginning and to be continued with a sustainable collaboration between our parts from our university and Slovakia's institutions. Thank you again for your coming. Dziękuję. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Excellency. So I think we are closing now our program, and we invite you all to have your iftar. Oh yeah, I forgot. And please, Pak Director, Ambassador, to have a photo session. Thank you very much. Can we have our audience to
Yes.
Siapa nih? Dara, aduh Neng, akhirnya ketemu ya Neng.